Welcome back to No Sticks, No Bricks. Last week when we left you, we were dead in the water because our leveling jacks on our RV would not move. They wouldn't go up or down, so we were stuck. However, we finally received this $2.40 part that may or may not have fixed our RV, and we're gonna let you know about that here in a minute. However, the topic of this week's video is gonna be military veterans and RV lifestyle. It could be the perfect lifestyle for a military veteran.
It could be.
All that and more right after this. We're gonna talk in our home away from home today. Our clam. This is our entertainment space. I'm sure you all have seen it before.
Our outdoor living space.
Yeah, this is our outdoor living space. And this is where we play cards and we watch football and that kind of stuff. So we'll sit down in here and talk to you about military life and RV life and how they intersect and really how they helped us military veterans. For those of you that are new to our channel, Jen and I are both retired Air Force. We've got to combine 45 years of service together, and we retired in 2014, and then we hit the road full time in 2021. So we did about another 7 years in the civilian force. Yep. I went right back to the military and worked as a DoD civilian for another 7 years, and Jen worked at a private medical practice.
Yep.
You know, after being in the military so long and just getting used to moving all the time, we just started getting antsy. Like we built this brand new big beautiful house that was supposed to be our dream home. And then after about 6 years of living in that, we started getting a little antsy. We were ready to move on and do something different.
Mostly because the kids were going to be leaving.
Yeah, that's kind of what sparked it.
That was the major thing.
Yeah, our kids both graduated high school and they were moving out, and we had this big huge house and big huge house payment, and we had our military retirements, and we're both 100% disabled veterans.
Well, we weren't at the time.
We weren't at the time, correct. We were, 80 and 20, I think. We have since got that changed, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But that kind of sparked a conversation of selling our big, beautiful home and moving on to something different. And then we kind of talked about full-time RV life, because we'd been camping together already for over 20 years. We've had... At that point, we had already had, 6 RVs or something like that. So we kind of just started talking about that.
One of the big things is we wanted to do, that the kids were gone, we wanted to do more traveling. In Germany, when we did that, we traveled pretty much every weekend or every holiday weekend or whatever. We were always gone, so. Yeah,
we had seen a lot of Europe, and we have traveled the world on different deployments and stuff, but we'd really never seen the United States.
Right. I mean, because in the military, whenever we took leave or vacation time, we were always visiting family.
Correct.
So
it wasn't to go out to a national park and visit those. We were, you were right. We're always visiting family.
Or, I mean, we did go to Disney World twice, but again, that's, I don't really consider that like seeing anything. That was just going.
Seeing the large crowds and expensive food, I guess.
But, we did that when the kids were little, because I feel like every kid should go to Disney World at some point.
Yeah.
But another big thing is I was sick of the winter in Alaska. I was sick of snow.
You weren't the only one.
Yeah, I have an autoimmune disorder, and so, whenever it gets really cold like that, it's not good for my system, so.
Yeah, and where we lived in Palmer, Alaska, it's not that the winters were super harsh. We didn't get the 40, 50 below zero stuff like in Fairbanks when we lived up there. The problem is the winters are so long. You're talking 6 months out of the year, and you get the darkness, and we were just ready for something different. We were ready to wear shorts and that t-shirt like I got on right now, and it's mid-November. We could have never done this in Alaska.
No.
So how does RV lifestyle and military lifestyle, how are they comparable, basically, is what we want to talk about. I feel like when you've been in the military long enough and you're moving every 2 years, 3 years, even a year, depending on what branch you're in, what your job is, I'd say for us, our average was about every 3 years. We were packing up and we were moving. You get used to that. And when you're stagnant for 5, 6, 7 years, you start getting the itch, like you're ready to go. I think a lot of military veterans, especially those of us that served, more than one hitch, 4, 8, 12, 16, whatever years, kind of get in that mindset where you're constantly want to be on the move. And I think a lot of military veterans, it actually helps with their mental status as well. I know it does for us, for sure. We both have PTSD. From various things that happened to us while we were in the military. yes, I know we're retired Air Force, but believe it or not, Air Force deploy as well. And when we deploy with the Army, with the Marines.
Me and I spent a whole year in Afghanistan with the Navy and the Army.
We see a lot of crap too. Now, Jen and I, we've never been shot at, but we've had mortar attacks.
There's other stuff that has happened.
Other stuff that I'm not really going to talk about, I'm not going to get into, but let's just say that changing our scenery every couple weeks as a full-time RVer helps with PTSD.
And I think we need to clarify something. Because full-time RVer and full-time traveler are very two different things. We are full-time RVers and travelers. So full-time RVers, to me, are people who just live in their RV and stay permanent.
Right.
And that is not what we are.
Nope.
So I think full-time RVer and full-time travelers definitely is more in line with what we do.
Yeah, we're full-time travelers that live in an RV.
That live in an RV, yes.
That's what we are.
Okay,
we're going to go inside because it's hot and humid here in Texas, so we're moving inside. Jim's already glistening.
I'm sweating. I can't take it.
Let's go inside. It might be a little loud with the ACs, but we'll get over it.
Out of the
We went from Colorado, where we're unhooking the water every night because it was so cold, to Texas, where it's 85 and humid. So this is a little bit of a culture shock for us right now.
Whew.
All right, well, we got to turn that radio off. We don't want any copyright strikes. Much nicer in here. Are you sweating?
I am sweating.
It's not even noon yet. You know what? After we film today, it might be a pool day.
It could be a pool day.
That might be pretty good. Back to the main point here is, I think changing our scenery and moving every couple weeks keeps our mind off other stuff. It definitely helps on the mental side of being a military veteran.
It does.
Yeah.
Like my anxiety, I've always been very anxious. So,
she's a worrywart
with anxiety. So you'd think it would be like traveling would cause more, but it doesn't actually.
Just travel days.
Yeah, just travel days.
So. For someone's a passenger princess and pretty much just
I
sleeps the whole
still get
time.
anxious because somebody gets road rage.
What?
And yells at like every other driver on the road.
Hey,
so.
People suck at driving. Mm-hmm. And there's a bunch of idiots out there. And sometimes that idiot is me. But I'll own it if I screw up.
Come here. Here.
Some great recall that Itty Bitty has.
Always. Come here.
This is what we have to do. Every time we want, you gotta do the thingy with your legs.
Oh, yeah.
This is what Itty Bitty demands. She can't just be picked up. She has to be lifted up.
Come here. Come on.
Yeah, that's how we have to get the Itty Bitty.
Yeah, even though she can jump up here because she's done it before.
But she likes the ride.
She likes the ride.
Pathetic. We are on year 5 of full-time travel in our RV, and we have come across a lot of military veterans.
Oh my gosh.
And we've made some great friends with a lot of military veterans. But I can tell you that I almost have the same conversation with every military veteran that we run across on the road that is also full-time RVing and traveling. Mm-hmm. And they all agree that this is one of the best lifestyles for a military veteran that there is out there. Mm-hmm. And I think it goes back to constant travel, constant keeping busy, constant change of scenery. You're seeing new stuff all the time. You're not in the daily grind where you're getting up at 6 a.m. and driving to the office and working all day and coming home and rinse and repeat. And that is taxing on not just a military veteran, but a lot of people. It can just start getting into your head when you do the same thing over and over. But when you're a military veteran, then it's amplified a lot. And not only does it help mentally, it helps physically. Because Jen and I feel like we're like way more active now that we're full-time RVing and traveling than we were after we retired from the military. You're used to doing PT tests, and you always have to be in shape when you're in the military, and then you retire or you get out, and then you're like, I don't have a PT test coming up. I'm going to grab that extra piece of fried chicken, or I'm going to grab that extra piece of dessert because I don't have to worry about a PT test anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did, and we both ballooned up. Like, we got big. Mm-hmm. We were even big our first year on the road and still learning this full-time RV lifestyle. And then we decided this isn't going to work because we want to do stuff. We want to go hiking, and we want to go to the beach, and we want to go snorkeling and swimming and all this other stuff. I think we're a lot more physically active as full-time RVers and travelers than we were as military retirees, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, because you go to a new location, there's new hikes, there's new beaches, there's pools where you can swim in, and then once you get tired of that location, you move on to the next, and it's a whole new area to explore. So we've really done a lot of hiking since we've been on the road.
We have.
Not a whole lot of hiking out here in Texas that we've discovered so far, at least not in this area, but we just got here, so we're going to go try to find some good hikes. But I think being physically active as we travel definitely helps with our mental state as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're not working in the office and then not spending the weekends, mowing the lawns, plowing the driveway, doing all those domestic or, household duties. We don't have to do that now.
No, it's a lot of playtime.
Yeah, now our weekends are spent chilling and our weeks and we do more stuff during the weekday.
Yeah. That's typically how we do it. On the weekends, we kind of just do projects around the RV, or during football season, we'll watch football or whatever. Because that's when all the people that are working full-time, they're out and about doing their things. So we just stay away, and then during the week, that's when we head out and do our explorations.
Yep.
Now, it's not all unicorns and rainbows when it comes to being a military veteran on the road.
No.
There are some challenges. Medical is probably our biggest challenge that we face. Now, for those that don't know, the VA does have a program. I don't know if it's a sanctioned program, but I guess it would be. It's called the Traveling Veteran Program. And basically how that works is we each have our own PCM. Mine's located in Claremont, Florida right now, and hers, she just moved here to Houston.
Which is like your primary care provider.
Yeah, your primary care provider. But as we travel, if we need something done, we just message our primary care, I'm just going to say PCM to shorten it up, PCM, our doctor, that what we need, and what they do is they put a referral in, and it goes to a traveling veteran coordinator who are located all over the United States. Each coordinator is responsible for a specific area in the United States, and then that traveling veteran coordinator will reach out to us and say, hey, we got a referral, you need to get labs done or whatever it is, this is where you can go, and they're going to call you, or you can call them to set up your appointment.
Now, I was medical in the Air Force, and I can tell you this is a very slow process.
Yes, it is.
Because a routine referral can take up to 30 days, which is what usually is our problem, because we're never any place for 30 days.
Yes. So planning is definitely a huge part of this.
So like currently, I just switched my primary care provider from the Orlando VA out here to the Houston VA because we're going to spend our winter out here, and we're talking about, potentially spending other winters out here and moving our storage unit out in this area. So to me, it just makes sense. So like I'll have my appointment with them. However, anything emergent or urgent, like when I broke my ribs from my e-bike crash,
that's right,
you can just go to any emergency room you can go to, but for an urgent care you just have to find one that takes the VA, which you just get on the app or the website. And
now it's going to be dependent, though. It depends on what your percentage rating is for VA. For us, since we're both 100%, we can go to the VA for anything. So just make sure you know what your percentage is and what benefits that you specifically have from the VA.
Correct.
Because we had TRICARE before we were 100%, so we had the VA and TRICARE. The VA would cover certain stuff, the TRICARE would cover certain stuff.
TRICARE was even worse than the VA.
Yeah, but once we got our 100%, we just canceled TRICARE. Our kids are old enough now, they're not on it anymore, so we didn't need it, and there was no point in having it anymore. But Jen's right, the VA process is not a fast one. It's very slow. The other segment to the medical side that's a little bit challenging is getting meds, our medicines. So we both take enough meds to where we have a pill box. That's the only way we actually know what day it is of the week. When you're retired and you have this lifestyle, that's how I know. I will open up my pill box and be like, oh, okay, it must be Wednesday because that's my next opening.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is a challenge to get our meds. Right now, we're not on any meds that are controlled substances, so they just mail them to us. But again, you have to forecast that out because once you get on the VA app, which is really nice, you can do all your refills on the VA app, and it makes it super easy. However, you do have to change your shipping address to wherever you want those meds to be shipped. So sometimes you have to look, where am I going to be 2 weeks from now, change my address to that, and then have the meds shipped to there.
And you got to make sure that they accept packages.
Right. A lot of RV parks, specifically within the Thousand Trails system, charge for packages. However, if it's medications, sometimes they'll waive that fee.
And the other big problem is how our meds get shipped. They come USPS. So some RV parks don't accept any United States Postal Service mail.
It's always USPS too, isn't it?
It's always USPS. So then you have to figure out, well, if they're not going to accept USPS, then how?
So we usually look for like a local pack and ship store or something like that accepts
now,
packages.
Normally the USPS is more like mail, like your letters, birthday cards, whatever. So, but sometimes they do take priority mail packages.
Sometimes. It just depends on the park, really.
Depends on the park.
Honestly, our best advice is if you need your meds, you just call to whatever park you think you're going to have them shipped to and ask the question.
But you got to be specific. Don't ask if they accept packages. You got to
learn
specific. This lesson the hard way.
Do you accept USPS packages? And do you charge for medications?
Yes.
Sometimes they don't charge for RV parts too. So, yeah.
It's just every park is different. You just got to plan.
Everyone's different.
And sometimes we have to have them shipped to a place that we got to pay a couple bucks to get our meds. Because
I'd say more often than not, we have to do that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're getting medication that is a controlled substance, they will not mail them to you. So that is a major pain in the butt. In fact, when we first hit the road, I was taking tramadol for pain. And to get that on the road was a nightmare because they can't mail them, obviously, because it's a controlled substance. So what they have to do is they have to send the prescription to like a local Walgreens or whatever it is, and then you got to go to Walgreens and fill it, and it's a pain in the butt. That lasted about a year, and I was like, I'm done with this. I'm getting off the pain meds. I'm just gonna take normal pain meds, over the counter, non-controlled substance crap. It was probably one of the best things I ever did. Anyway, just keep that in mind if it's a controlled substance. It's
the other
a
problem
bit of a
is
pain.
you can only transfer it so many times, a controlled substance. So like, Walgreens to Walgreens to Walgreens, like after a while, if you're anywhere that doesn't have a Walgreens, it's just
it's a nightmare. It's not worth it, honestly. And yeah, I'm glad we don't do that anymore. But it is doable if you're willing to go through that painful process of having it filled at CVS or Walgreens or whatever it is. And plus, you have to keep in mind where you're going to be for that. Like, when does my prescription run out? Where am I going to fill my next refill? And do they even have it in stock? You got to call forward to that specific place to make sure they have it, because that's another problem we ran into a lot, was they didn't even have it. They're really cracking down on controlled substances, specifically painkillers and narcotics and stuff like that. It's a lot harder to get, and they really make it a pain in the butt. So honestly, your best bet's just to get off of them.
I don't like them anyway, so.
Nah. Honestly, I hurt everywhere anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I do too, but I just don't take them because I don't like the way they make me feel. So they always make me sick to my stomach. So
let's go back to a little bit more positivity of why the military lifestyle and full-time RV travel lifestyle are compatible. And I think one of the bigger reasons is if you've been in the military a long time, then chances are you're pretty social. You're used to interacting with people. You're used to talking to people. You're used to following rules. And when you're a full-time RVer and traveler, that happens a lot. Like, there are still rules within the RV park, the RV community. The RV community is amazing, by the way. And plus, you're constantly talking to people. You're living in a neighborhood, in a different neighborhood every 2 weeks, so you're almost always have new neighbors.
Right.
Or they're coming, they're going. So I think that translates pretty well. It's kind of like little mini deployments every 2 weeks, or mini TDYs.
Yep.
You're only there for a short period of time, so you try to meet people and talk to them and get their story, and then you move on and do the same thing at the next place.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the RV park and everybody flies flags, right? We got flags all over the place. We got the American flag. Everybody's flying their flags. And military veterans, we are known for flying our flag for what service we're in. So when we're walking by a vehicle and I see someone outside and they've got like a Marine flag or whatever, I'll yell, "Semper Fi!" How long did you serve? What did you serve? And then that just sparks the conversation. Next thing you know, we're talking. It's crazy how veterans are like magnets, and then we just attracted to each other because we all have similar stories. And I think pretty much every single RV park we've ever been in has got at least one military flag flying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we meet so many people.
We have right now. Actually, we don't even have an Air Force flag. Our Air Force flag pretty much got worn out. So I replaced it with the thin line flag, as you can see it out there. And then of course, Old Glory right there. But I've had a lot of questions on this flag. A lot of people don't know what that thin line flag is. And then my hat, as you can see, I got the thin green flag, green support for military. Thin red is to support the fire dogs. Thin blue is to support law enforcement. And then we have the thin gray line, which is for corrections, and thin white line, which is for your medical people. Did I get them all?
I think so.
I hope I didn't miss any. If I did, put it down in the comments, but I think I got them all.
White, gray.
Our flag right now just has blue, green, and red on it, and that's what we found, so I don't have all of them on there, but we do have a shirt that has them all on there.
And a sticker.
Ah, that's right. Hold on, let me show you that.
I have that sticker.
There it is.
Yellow,
Oh, dispatch. That's what I forgot. Dispatch is yellow.
And
then EMS is the white. Red, police, military.
Then what's white is corrections.
Gray. Well, I thought corrections was gray. Yeah, EMS is white.
Okay.
Those colors are a little off on that sticker, I think, because that doesn't look great. It looks tan, but anyway. So going back to the middle part of this lifestyle and being a military veteran, especially for us living in Alaska, you know, we were talking about the winters earlier and how long and dark they were, and that will mentally tax you as well. Like after a few months of that, you're just like, you get cabin fever and you're ready to go and you're ready to get out and you're ready for some warm weather. It starts messing with your head. In fact, the suicide rate in Alaska is pretty high because of that. I forget what they call it, but there's a term for it.
Seasonal affect disorder.
There you go, seasonal affect disorder. And this lifestyle allows us to avoid all of that. Because if it starts getting cold and nasty and dark, we just head south and we go to where it's warm. And once it starts getting super hot, super humid, nasty, where you're miserable and you want to be indoors, we head north. Head to the mountains, head to the beach, whatever it is, to get away from all that. So it definitely helps. But overall, I'd say this lifestyle just fits the military lifestyle perfectly. Again, we're just used to moving around. We're used to a change of scenery. I guess when you're in the military, one thing we didn't talk about is you know that you're going to be leaving a specific base or post at some point, right? So if you're there and you don't like it and you don't like the people you work with, there is always light at the end of the tunnel, because you're either going to be PCSing soon out of there, or you can go on a deployment to get out of there, or whatever the case may be.
Or the person, people, whatever, your situation will definitely be changing.
Or the people you don't like are going to leave, right? The RV lifestyle is very similar. We've been to some RV parks where we just were like, this place is garbage.
Yep.
Let's go. And you guys have seen that in some of the videos, like last week when we tried to get into Lake Whitney 1,000 Trails, and it was terrible. The roads were horrible, so we just left. It definitely helps to be able to do that.
And I think that's one of the things the military is adapting. Adapt and overcome. Like we do that a lot with a lot of stuff in this lifestyle. Like go to a place and it sucks and we're like, all right. I mean, sometimes we'll be like, all right, we're gonna stay here 1 or 2 nights and we're gonna change our plans. And then sometimes we're like, we're not even gonna stay here, so let's do an audible. Another thing is, like, we've met a lot of great friends in the military, and this lifestyle allows us to visit them, to see them more, because we're always moving. So whenever we're in an area, you know, like when we were in, who did we just
Amarillo. We just met up with the Dobbs. We were stationed in Germany with Steve and Leslie. And then we met up with Robert Bonnie in Salt Lake City when we were there. So yeah, we are always we met up with the Beaumonts when we were in Oregon. I mean, it's just, we're always meeting up with our friends from the military. I think we have somebody that we know in every single state in the United States. Here's the funny part. There's a theme whenever we meet our old military friends that are living in a house, they're living in their traditional sticks and bricks, they're working, you know, their 9-to-5 jobs or whatever. They almost always tell us the same thing.
That they're jealous.
They're jealous and they wish they had our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, if you're a military veteran and you are looking for something different, something to keep your mind occupied, something that's different than the normal 9-to-5 grind, consider full-time RV life with full-time travel, because I think it definitely helps. It makes a huge difference in our well-being, our day-to-day well-being, and we wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
Alright, so let's wrap up this video real quick by showing you this whole fuse situation that we had with our leveling jacks. This is what fixed the problem, I think, and I'm going to tell you why I think maybe I'm about 95% sure it's fixed. Just a little 150 amp fuse. I had to get them off of Amazon. I could not find them anywhere else. Went to several different stores, but we were kind of out in the middle of nowhere when we were at Lake Whitney. These specific ones are made by Bojack, and it came in a pack of 6 for like 12 bucks. I'll put the link in the description of the video. There's also a link in the description of last week's video. But if you didn't see last week's video, the gist is we got to our site in Lake Whitney, and our right front jack wouldn't come all the way down, so I kept cycling the jacks up and down to try to get that thing to drop, and it never would. Finally, I think I just overheated the pump for the hydraulic jacks, and it blew the 150 amp fuse. I kept getting a no voltage or no power to the pump message on my Lippert control for the jacks, and even sometimes it would say low voltage, which is inaccurate because the fuse is completely blown, because there was 0 voltage going to the pump. I took my multimeter and checked the pump, and there was 0 voltage, so it still gave me a low voltage area, which I read up on, and Lippert's system will do that. It'll detect no voltage but give you a low voltage error, which makes no sense. But it is what it is. Just want you guys to be aware of that. Anyway, the 150 amp fuse goes up here behind this case. This guy right here. So this was the fuse I replaced, this bottom one. And this is the power line going to the pump. So I had voltage on this side of the fuse, but it was blown, so it wasn't allowing voltage to go through and to this line that goes to the pump, which is why I was getting no power to the pump. So the reason I'm 99% sure it's fixed is because we had a kind of a weird situation when we got here to Lake Conroe on Friday. The fuses were actually waiting for us when we got here. So in order for us to leave Whitney where we were, I actually had to use the jumper cables to bypass the fuse to get the jacks up. That's the only thing I could do to get it to work so we could leave, because the fuses I ordered at Whitney didn't come in time. They got delayed. So we got here, the fuses were here waiting on us. So I went to the site. Jen ran up to the Amazon locker to grab the fuses, came back to the site. I installed the fuse. The error message completely went away on the control panel, so I'm thinking good to go. Then I go to hit the jacks, the engine's running. We've been traveling, you know, from Fort Worth to Houston, so a couple hours. Batteries were nice and charged, and the message came back, low voltage. I'm like, what in the world is going on? I start doing voltage checks. I've got 13.6 volts going to the pump, so I know my voltage is good. These are lithium batteries going to the pump, by the way. That's why the voltage is so high. So I'm racking my brain now, like, well, what's going on here? I don't understand why I'm getting a low voltage error again. So I'm like, well, let me just try plugging in the RV and see if it works. So I plug the RV in, message goes away, jacks work just fine, not an issue. I was like, what the heck? A couple days go by, and I'm like, okay, I got to try to figure this out before we leave. We're here for 2 weeks, but this is going to drive me crazy. Why do I have to be plugged in to operate my jacks? I'm getting a low voltage error when the engine's running after driving for like 3 hours. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I disconnect power, I fire up the engine, I let it run for a few minutes, and then I go to do the jacks. No message. Works just fine. So I don't know. I could not duplicate the problem. I could never get that message to come back up. So I don't know if the system just needed time after I replaced a fuse to reset or what, but I'll keep an eye on it and let y'all know. But hopefully on our next travel day, which isn't until next Friday, we won't have the same problem. So, well, I think that's going to do it for this week, guys. If you guys have any questions whatsoever on this video or any other video, or our lifestyle, or being a veteran in this lifestyle, go ahead and email us at realnosticksnobricks@gmail.com, or just put a comment on this video. We'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, and also join our Facebook group called the No Sticks Squad. We actually answer a lot of questions in there as well, and Facebook messages. I mean, any way you guys can contact us, feel free. We absolutely love helping out fellow RVers, fellow veterans, everyone actually. Until next week, guys, safe travels.